The NYPD has just wrapped up a week of extra enforcement on the subway system. The already elevated police presence was boosted a little more with a particular emphasis on turnstile jumpers. It is increasingly rare that you go through a subway journey without seeing a uniformed NYPD presence or the National Guard troops that we've seen. They are at the entrances, they're on the platforms, they're on the trains. There was a combative radio interview on Friday. The mayor was criticized for creating fear by over-policing. He told the hosts on the Breakfast Club that the opposite is true.
Black and brown people?
Yes, brother. I just had a town hall. I just had a town hall yesterday. All these black and brown folks inside that town hall. Number one issue they came up with: we want to feel safer. We want more cops on our corners.
People want to feel safer. It doesn't mean they want more cops. And if they did, New York City has the most police in the country.
All right, we'll get to that in a moment. With us in studio to talk about the impact and the perception of increased police presence is the NYPD Chief of Transit, Michael Kemper. Chief Kemper, good to have you here this morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Before we get into that debate and what's going on in the subways, I do want to talk about that very emotional funeral service in Massapequa on Saturday for Officer Diller. Tell me what bond among cops an event like that creates.
Well, first of all, I'm glad you started off with that. And, as I sit here right now, I'm thinking of Stephanie and the entire Diller family who experienced a, terrible, terrible loss. I mean, just a week ago today, Jonathan Diller was on patrol in Queens, taking police action where he was shot and killed tragically. Over the weekend, Saturday was his funeral, which was attended by tens of thousands of people. And it was just a sobering reminder of what cops confront each and every day. And again, my thoughts and prayers are with Stephanie and the entire Diller family.
Yeah, I mean, we really learned about a young man who started in one career, wasn't quite what he wanted, found the NYPD, went through the academy, and knew it was dangerous work, but was committed to the community.
Yeah, committed. And look, you're talking about a 31-year-old in the prime of his life, married with a 1.5-year-old. Just tragic on so many levels.
Let's talk about this reaction that the mayor was getting on Friday about too many cops in the subway. The argument is that you create fear by having all of those officers there. My sense is that the NYPD's view of late has been the opposite.
Yeah, I have yet to run into anyone that says we want to see less police officers. It's just the opposite. Our riders are demanding more police officers. And you know what? Their presence offers them a sense of safety, a sense of comfort. And you know what? We've increased our posture over the last couple of months. We've increased the numbers there, and it's working. The presence is working.
The March numbers say that overall index crimes in the subway down 23.5% year over year.
Yes.
That's a number you're proud of.
Look, we're not proud of one crime, but to be down 23% in a month, considering how we started the year, is encouraging. And it just shows that those investments that we made with the 1,000 additional cops a day are paying dividends. And look, we're not satisfied. Again, one crime is one crime too many, and we're committed to maintaining our presence and posture.
Is there a way you can do that presence, that if somebody feels threatened, can the presence be subtle enough that it is a deterrent but not looming over people? How do the officers in a moment-to-moment, how do they engage with the public in the stations?
Every engagement is different, and every engagement is dictated by what comes to the officer's way, right? We got to find that balance with deployment, that proper balance, and that's the most difficult part of the deployment. But proper deployment is critical to our success. And listen, we're deployed to trains, platforms, mezzanines, and turnstiles. And again, I'll say this: everyone loves to see a cop, but in the subway system, people really love to see the presence of a cop.
I mentioned that you were focused last week on fare beating.
Yeah.
And we have heard this at various times in various administrations, the broken windows school of policing, which is you find somebody who's doing one thing wrong and there may be something more there. In the case of a fare evasion bust just a few days ago, a gun recovered and a sense that there's often something lurking in those fare evasion cases.
Yeah, that example Thursday, which I'll touch on in a second, is just one example of so many. Can't overstate the value of turnstile presence in fare evasion enforcement, setting the tone of law and order immediately when our riders come into to a subway station. So what you're talking about is Thursday afternoon in the Bronx. We had a 42-year-old male who entered the system without paying. He was stopped by transit cops. He had active warrants. It was also learned that he's on parole for murder. He's a convicted murderer, and he was in possession of a loaded ghost gun and felony weight narcotics. He was subsequently arrested on scene for that. And again, who knows what this person's intent was by bringing a gun into the subway system, but the good news is that our cops stopped him before we can learn.
Over the weekend, you and your colleagues on Twitter, how do I phrase this? You were pushing back forcefully against a particular daily news column that came from Harry Siegel. I've got a montage on screen of some of the responses, one from you, a couple from your colleagues. Why are you all feeling so frustrated? Why go after one report like this?
Well, listen, I'll speak for my response. My response was correcting a false narrative that was written. And at the end of the day, the Daily News did correct the error. And look, our social media presence is just a platform for us to tell our story. And I'll tell our stories in many different ways. The work that our cops are doing, which is amazing work, but it's also to correct false narratives.
But it seems like you've had enough, and you're getting a little more aggressive with the social media.
I wouldn't call my tweets aggressive. I call them right to the point, professional, and accurate.
Okay.
And if people are surprised that we have a voice also, well, I don't know what to tell them. But we're not just going to sit back and accept false narratives.
Fair enough. I want to talk about these weapons detectors that you unveiled last week. It's clearly, with 472 subway stations, you're not going to put them at every entrance. Is this technology promising? Where do you go with it?
Yeah, so right now where we stand is we announced last week that we're exploring new technology, weapons detection systems. No decisions have been made in relation to the machine or the apparatus that we're going to use, but again, we're always exploring new technology to keep our subway riders safe. It's interesting, just a few years back, video was cutting edge, cell phones were cutting edge, and here we are today, like it's just an everyday norm to us. This is the future. This is all about protecting and keeping our subway system safe. Yeah,
and it sure helps in the investigations too, when you look at some of these incidents that are caught on camera and you can see minute by minute what happened. It's a lot easier to put it all together.
Absolutely, and we're exploring other technologies such as drone technology also in the subway system, combating subway surfing. We've already had success, and instead of sending cops or human beings into tunnels to do searches, why not send a drone to do the search for us? So again, this is all about safety.
Our condolences to Officer Diller's family, now promoted to detective, and we're all thinking of the NYPD on the weekend. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Appreciate your kind words. Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest news and weather updates every 10 minutes and more. We'll see you then.